This is the Zhiyun Crane M3. And it might look small, but surprisingly, Zhiyun has created a new genre of gimbal with it. It's super small, it can hold a mobile phone, just like the DJI OM5 I have here. Maybe not quite as small, but it also has the heft to carry a surprisingly large camera and lens, just like one of the bigger gimbals we have here. So it kind of sits right in between a mobile phone gimbal and these slightly bigger rigs. Hi, I'm Rob, welcome back to Photobite. Believe it or not, for the majority of our time with this gimbal, we've been rocking our Sony A7S Mark II on it. And it seems to just work. Pretty crazy seeing how small this thing is with quite a large camera on top of it. Now, we did have to take the cage off it and go down to a 24-70 lens. As long as your lens doesn't weigh too much, you can actually use a wide range of cameras with the Zhiyun M3. Zhiyun even provides a rather large list of compatible cameras you can use with it as well. And I imagine if your camera fits within the size and weights of these options, I imagine that would work just fine as well. It almost seems to perform just as well as our Crane 2S, provided we do rock it with a cage and a bigger lens on that. But it's crazy to see the kind of power you can get out of something so small nowadays. Just how small? It is weighing in at just 700 grams on its own, which is very light and very tiny.
As you can see, here's a little bit of footage from the A7S Mark II on top of the M3. Me just running around like a madman filming some trees. As you can see, it handles this quite heavy camera and lens pretty well. And here's a little bit in selfie mode as well, so you can see how smooth it is when filming yourself.
Now, let me take you on a tour around the gimbal. As you can see, this looks quite a lot different to Zhiyun's other products, which I'm actually quite a big fan of. The modern, aggressive Stormtrooper aesthetic is quite striking, especially with the added flair of the light-up logo on the side. Maybe it doesn't seem as professional as their other gimbals, which I think they were actually going for. They're going for something a little bit more cool than pro, even though it definitely could be quite popular with the pros due to its small form factor. The design even makes its way into the very high quality bag. It definitely seems they were using this product as a bit of a playground to test out some new ideas as well, such as the really handy 800 lumen dual temperature light on the front, which is attached to the front of the gimbal and is surprisingly bright. This is the lowest setting, and that's the brightest. And if I click here, there is the two temperature settings that you can dial between. Definitely a good addition for you vloggers out there to provide a nice amount of film.
Another nice little touch is that the light actually comes with a couple magnetic filters for changing the colour of the light, which is pretty cool.
Now going down the gimbal a little bit, there is a 1/4-inch screw mount on the side for attaching a monitor or whatever. You definitely wouldn't see that on a phone gimbal. On the back you'll see this rotary dial, which usually you'd think would be for pairing with a follow focus, but it's purely just tied to camera control over USB. There's also another dial on the side which can be mapped to other settings like the light. And of course a trigger button for changing modes and other settings. On the front is a reasonably sized 1.22-inch touchscreen with a very similar interface to Zhiyun's other gimbals. Now, one downside to the compactness of this gimbal is that it does have a built-in battery, meaning no swapping out batteries on a long day. But Zhiyun does say it has quite an impressive 8-hour runtime. I imagine that's when it's paired with a lighter, say, APS-C camera that is kind of made for, such as my A6300, as the motors do have to work pretty hard with a big camera on it like this. But it does come with Super PD fast charge, which can charge it in about 2 hours apparently. And even more impressively, it can be charged while in use, meaning you can run around with a battery bank in your pocket if you need to, which not a lot of gimbals let you do. Now again, due to its compactness, you'll find most camera battery doors and the right side of the cameras are obscured while on the gimbal. But Zhiyun has come up with a quick release system, the Quick Release 4.0, making it pretty easy to remove your camera quickly and swap out batteries or SD cards without having to rebalance. And finally, going back to my statement on this being a bit of a playground for Zhiyun, there is also this little expansion module that can be attached to the bottom of the gimbal. Now this seems very unique in my eyes. Having a microphone input on a gimbal, there's even a version of the kit that comes with its own microphone and cable, so you can have pretty high quality audio going into your camera while using the gimbal. Unfortunately, we don't have the microphone with us today, but here is a little demo I made using a microphone and cable we had lying around, and it seems to just work great.
So now I'm on the A7S Mark II on the Zhiyun M3, and I picked up any mic I could find, which happened to be this Elvis style mic here, with an XLR to jack going straight into the gimbals, and then straight from the aux jack in the gimbal straight into the back of the camera. And from what I can hear, it sounds completely fine. Nice handy little pass-through.
But that's not all the expansion module has to offer. You can now also get this little receiver add-on that goes into the base, which you can control many modern cameras via Bluetooth, meaning no cables going from your gimbal to your camera, which sounds amazing, because one thing that can be really annoying is having a massive cable mess on top of your camera. Overall, this tiny little gimbal really surprised me in how powerful it is. At first glance, I said to myself, there's no way that can hold our A7S Mark II, let alone perform as well as it does. Obviously, the A7S Mark II is definitely pushing the limits of what the gimbal can do. I would definitely recommend this more for smaller APS-C style cameras, such as the A6000 series from Sony, or some of the Fujifilm ones probably work pretty nicely too. Personally, I love a small, compact setup that I could fit into one bag, and this achieves that without compromising on performance. If anything, it gives me more versatility, as I could use it for my phone if I need to, or if I ever did run out of juice, knowing I can run it off a battery bank gives me great peace of mind. And I don't see myself running around with a big old microphone and cable attached to it, but it's nice to know I have the option if it ever came up. Anyway, that was my impressions on the Crane M3 from Zhiyun. Let me know what you think of the gimbal in the comments below. And if you have any other products that would feed my love for a super compact, no compromise setup, let me know in the comments below. I've been Rob, this has been PhotoBite. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.